It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Espresso. We're live on SABC3, and when it comes to parenting, introducing solid foods is one of the most exciting milestones of the baby's first year. But with an endless amount of conflicting advice, and you know there's a lot of that going around, particularly when it comes to the introduction of different foods, it can be really confusing.
It really can. So let's demystify right now. Joining us this morning is pediatrician and allergist Tulja Trikamji, who will be discussing the benefits of introducing our babies to solids and the very latest research about the introduction of allergens to your little one's diet. Tulja, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
These become quite self-indulgent discussions because I've got a 1-year-old baby and a 3-year-old, so I'm kind of navigating my way through life. Not quite as experienced as this man over here, but we really appreciate being able to get the latest. I think research is being done constantly, so it helps to keep up with the times.
Absolutely.
Especially as Carl pointed out, when there is so much clutter. There are so many conflicting, and Dr. Google also has...
Definitely. And the braais you go to, and everybody's saying, oh, you know what you should do, eh? You take a pumpkin and you smash it, and the next thing you know, it's a bad piece of advice.
The worst phrase you can ever mention to a doctor is Dr. Google.
Oh,
Just the word
I'm sorry, I've gotten off onto the wrong...
If you're going to come to my practice with that word, then you should leave.
Very true. Very true. But when it comes to all of the research behind it, I mean, there is something that is so important, which is credible information. That's why we brought you in. Thank you for being our credible source of info. But when it comes to introducing solid foods, I know there's a process, and I know there's a right time to do it. So this is no braai. This is us just having a good conversation.
Completely.
When is the right time?
So I think it's important to know that according to the World Health Organization and our National Department of Health guidelines, we still recommend exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. This is because in a developing country like ours, malnutrition and communicable diseases, which are things like HIV and tuberculosis, are still an issue. That said, coming to the research that you're referring to, allergies in general, but particularly food allergy, has been something that we hear about every day, much more than we did 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So much so that the world is currently describing that we are possibly in an allergy epidemic.
Wow.
So lots of research has been gone into why are allergies increasing so much? Why is this so much of an issue? And there have been various factors and various things that have been put forward, like climate change, air pollution, and some of our lifestyle factors as well. And one of those lifestyle issues is the timing of introduction of solids. And that's where we come in with when and how to wean our babies. So, Grim, the immune system is particularly growing in babies at all times, but between 4 and 6 months, we consider that a very crucial part of the development of the immune system. So some of the research done in Europe now has proven, and this has come out in the last 5 years, that if you introduce your babies to allergens, like your peanuts and your cow's milk, before 6 months, so that's between 4 and 6 months, that their risk of developing food allergies is far less. So initially they looked at peanuts, and just recently in the last 6 months, they looked at the introduction of wheat, and it actually decreased the risk of celiac disease, which, as we know, is very common in 3-year-olds.
Oh, wow, I'm thinking now of making some shellfish for my child when I get home tonight. No, I just say that because it's a standing joke here that I have a tragic shellfish allergy. But it makes sense because we're a system that feeds off the information that's put into it. So how is the system going to build without getting the relevant information that it needs? We know that having the right kind of formulated cereals and the manner in which you introduce those solids is vitally important. What is the right way?
So what I always explain to parents is that as living beings, as humans, we need food and nutrition for our bodily functions, for our organs to work and function every day, and we need some for our energy. So our activities of daily living, as much energy as we require, the food is metabolized and it provides us with that. Babies and children need that and some, because they also need extra nutritional value for growth and development. Our growth is not as rapid as their babies are. And the growth now is coming internally in terms of the immune system and the internal organs, and externally. And that's, as dads, you know, every time you go to the pediatrician, the weight and the height that's done, it's almost like a competition among moms.
95%, I'm just saying.
You know, especially with our little immunization cards plotting our baby's growth. So That's why sometimes some of the foods that we eat may not have the same nutritional value and content in terms of the proteins, the vitamins, the minerals, and the fortifying effects. And that's why feeding them with something that's safe, free from anything that's processed or damaging to their health, but at the same time fortified sufficiently is important for their growth.
Gut health. I mean, we've covered so much. Just very quickly before we let you go, how do we ensure good gut health? Because so much of our holistic health stems from that.
Absolutely. So with the gut health, the microbiome, which is a term that we hear about all the time, refers to all the organisms in our body. And it's something that helps us to fight off bacteria, but also contains bacteria and contains various organisms. The main system in our body that houses this microbiome or all of these organisms is our gut. When babies are born, their guts are immature and their immune system is also immature. So whatever happens to their gut and their immune system, in fact, not even from birth, from the time moms find out they're pregnant and the baby is growing internally, is going to be key in developing, but also ensuring a healthy gut. And from my advice with that is always that you want babies to be exposed to the correct stuff, and you want them to be exposed to a diverse group of things. So lots of different food groups, lots of variety of proteins, and that's where the allergens come in, because proteins are what people react to. And you want their gut to be strong against this. Weaning is very important because when they're breastfeeding, they're only metabolizing and digesting breast milk. Suddenly, when you're weaning them, they're digesting and metabolizing starches, and they're digesting and metabolizing other things. So this is all there to ensure a mature gut and holistically a mature immune system.
Thank you so much.
Pearls of wisdom there, and something to chew on, literally, right here on Espresso. And as you know, when it comes to solid foods, I mean, this is very, very important. A range of foods, textures, new experiences, even speech development. And that's where this particular thing comes in with Purity's range of ready-to-eat cereals and hot porridges. Parents have a variety of convenient options to choose from that are gentle on little tummies and great tasting to give you the peace of mind that you are giving your little one the very, very best start to their weaning journey. So consider that and do enjoy this moment. I think for me, the lippies are always the best when the solid foods are introduced. Good luck to you.